Howdy, folks, and welcome to another episode of the DINO WYO Podcast. This is going to be a shorter episode, focused on improving Wyoming's road infrastructure based on a question my brother Elias asked me, which you'll hear in the beginning of the recording. I thought I'd spice this episode up a bit, so instead of the usual Nobu pictures, I've included some photos of other dogs that our supporters have sent us, and even one of a cat. Don't worry, though. Nobu's place as the official Dino doggy is still secure. With that, let's dive in to tackling how we fix our roads.
So roads in Wyoming get destroyed about as fast as they get built. So what are your plans to improve that infrastructure, especially on the lesser traveled highways that a lot of us can be perceive them as like death traps? There's specifically, I think, of 287 between Rollins and Casper. Can't remember the name of the highway, but the one between Laramie and Casper. Mm-hmm. Really, a lot of the roads connecting to Casper are just terrible.
They are, and for a centrally located city, you'd think it would be better than that. I know there are a lot of deaths on the Laramie-Casper Road every year. It's kind of nuts. This one's a little complicated and nuanced, but the first step is, imagine if you fixed how the government spends money. Because right now, according to the government, a hammer costs about $10,000, right? Like, it's nuts how much money the government wastes on not accomplishing much. Some of this is just if you fix how the government takes in money, so it's not taxing the workers, if you fix how the government spends money so it's spending less and living within its means, you're going to see wiser investment in durable roads. Some of this is more complicated. I've talked to a lot of road engineers, and there's a lot you can do with concrete roads and things like that are more replaceable in paneling, and this gets a little nerdy, but like right now you've got all these asphalt tar roads, and if you want to replace it, you can either patch it or you can dig up a huge chunk of the road and replace it, whereas concrete roads, you can just bring in the big panel and replace it. So that's some of the like easy, low-hanging fruit. But I want to talk about the future, not just what we could do right now with what already exists. The main reason our roads get destroyed is that we've got bad weather. We've got a thawing season in the spring where the water from the thaw gets into the cracks, expands when it freezes again, and then boom, it creates potholes and all this devastation in the roads, and that's why they need to be fixed a lot. We've also got a massive trucking industry in Wyoming that hauls a bunch of heavy goods. So we're going to get all the way into the weeds on this one, and I need you to bear with me, folks, because this is, if this is boring for you, then I guess the simple answer is this is super easy to fix, and we can just do that, okay? I just need you to trust me on that one. But if you'd like to know how, part of it is we're going to invest in local rail infrastructure. That means that we're putting less heavy goods on our roads and we're shipping them through trains, like coal, things like that, right? That was what made Wyoming great in the first place. We were built with the trains, with the railroads. But then we're also going to change how we do roads in the first place. Instead of massive snow removal done through snow plows and those big machines that pick it up, imagine if we use this technology that already exists. This is not a future technology. This exists. There is solar paneling that is built for roads that was designed in Norway because they wanted to be able to solve their snow removal problem. What you can do is you, instead of building an entire road out of solar paneling, which is wildly expensive and prone to problems, you build your divider lines and your road lines, like those yellow lines in the middle or those white lines on the side, out of that solar paneling. And then what it does is not only are you harnessing free power during the summer off of your roads, but that can be heated up, and then you have a slight grade to your roads, a sloping, so that as it heats up when the snow falls, it creates natural runoff, which captures more water, which we can use for things like irrigation. So that means that our farmers are now paying less, our ranchers are now paying less for water that they're using. We're preserving more water in a state that's always prone to drought, instead of just like hoping that it, how we capture it now isn't the worst, but it's not great because it destroys the road and we lose a lot of that water instead of harnessing it for irrigation. So this is us thinking a little bit in the future. And this goes to some other questions you've asked about how do we make Wyoming this place that young people want to live? Well, it's in part by we stop thinking that it's the 1980s. We realize that it's 2025 and will be 2026 when I'm hopefully elected governor, right? We've got so much cool technology that we could be taking advantage of to build better, more durable roads, and then to also make sure that we're not destroying them constantly with snow plows. You know how much Wyoming spends on snow removal right now? It's a god-awful amount. It's like one of the biggest parts of any city budget. If you go to a city council meeting, like in Casper, they talk about it. It's a multi-million-dollar expense every year. Whereas you could just build good roads to start, not have to replace them every 10 years, not have death trap highways, and sustain your entire economy with better water retention that solves for things like droughts and agriculture and yada yada. So if you bear with me on this one, people. If you followed some of what I'm saying, I hope that what's also coming clear is not just we can solve for the roads, but how all of these ideas flow into each other. That's the thing that makes our government so asinine and stupid the way it operates right now, is if there's one problem, they try maybe to solve that one problem in the most expensive way possible and actually cause more problems down the line. Whereas they could be solving problems if they were running a functional government in a way that hits multiple birds with one stone and saves us money in the process. Because that's what we're talking about, is maybe a larger investment up front, but probably not, frankly, because the government already spends a ton on things that it doesn't need to. So probably for less money than the government spends, we can build better roads, and then we don't have to rebuild them every year, so we're saving you money down the line, and we're having reverberating effects on things like agriculture that are positive.
Thanks for listening. As an additional caveat on this episode, I want to acknowledge that there's a lot more nuance to making superior roads in Wyoming. I didn't even begin to get into the details about improving the base layer on top of which we build our roads, which is objectively more important than fixing the materials they're constructed out of to begin with. I also didn't talk about things like drainage ditches along the side, and how to build them so that they are both efficient and safe from causing catastrophic accidents, which is something I've talked about with both road engineers and first responders. The gist is, there's a lot more to this than I got into, and it's something where we'd lean on the expertise of people who truly understand the solutions and how to build these roads to begin with. The beauty is that those experts do in fact exist and have thought about how to enact this sort of solution to make it work for an environment and an economy like Wyoming's, where we have so much heavy trucking and industrial purposes. As always, if you want to learn more or talk about this further, you can always reach out to us directly at dinowyo@gmail.com. And be sure to like, subscribe, and all that other jazz to all of our various channels to learn more about how the Dino movement and my campaign is meant to help tackle Wyoming's problems. Until next time, this is Gabriel Green, Dino candidate for governor in 2026.